great white, everyone knows what a great white attack looks like. The explosion from below, the breach, the impact before any warning. What almost no one knows is that the great white typically does not eat what it attacks. Researchers analyzing attack patterns off the California coast and South Africa have documented that in the majority of incidents involving humans, the great white bites once and releases. The wound is catastrophic. A single bite from an adult removes between 25 and 70 pounds of tissue. But the shark does not return. It investigates, it assesses, and it concludes, in most cases, that the target is not what it was looking for. The attacks that kill are largely the result of blood loss from that single investigative contact, not from a predator that has decided to feed. The mechanism is a sensory system of almost incomprehensible precision. Great whites detect 1 drop of blood dissolved in 100 liters of seawater. They sense the electromagnetic field produced by muscle contraction through open water. They track pressure displacement from movement at distances where the source is invisible. Every piece of data about a potential target reaches the shark before the target has any awareness of the shark at all. What that means at a systemic level is this: in every coastal ocean on Earth, great whites are continuously gathering information about every warm-bodied organism in the water column, not hunting all of them, monitoring all of them. The ocean humans swim in is not empty space with occasional predators. It is an information environment that great whites have been reading accurately for 16 million years. Bull sharks are responsible for more fatal attacks on humans than any other species. Most people assume this is because they are exceptionally aggressive. That is the wrong explanation, and the right one is considerably more unsettling. A bull shark swimming up the Mississippi River in 2019 was not being aggressive. It was doing exactly what bull sharks have always done, following warm, food-rich water inland. The animal has no concept of crossing a boundary into human territory. There is no boundary. Its kidneys regulate salinity so efficiently that the transition from ocean to river to lake produces no physiological stress whatsoever. The shark that attacked a swimmer in a New Jersey creek in 1916, one of the incidents that partially inspired Jaws, was not a rogue animal behaving abnormally. It was a bull shark doing what bull sharks do in the environment that bull sharks naturally occupy. The cause is a single biological adaptation. Specialized kidney tissue adjusts urea and salt output continuously, maintaining internal chemical balance regardless of external water composition. No other large predatory shark possesses this capability at the same functional level. It took bull sharks out of the ocean and placed them inside the freshwater systems that run through the center of human civilization: rivers, lakes, canals, floodplains, harbors. Globally, marine biologists estimate that bull sharks now occupy freshwater and brackish systems across every inhabited continent except Europe. The attack statistics assigned to other species in historical records are increasingly being re-evaluated. Bull sharks in turbid water leave incomplete bite evidence. Many attributed attacks, researchers now believe, were bull sharks in water. No one expected a shark to be in. The most dangerous predator is rarely the one you are watching for. It is the one in the water you already decided was safe. Oceanic whitetip. The oceanic whitetip killed more humans than any shark in history and spent most of the 20th century almost completely absent from public conversation about dangerous sharks. Jaws was released in 1975. The USS Indianapolis sank in 1945. The cultural memory selected one story and filed the other under naval history. What the Indianapolis survivors described in testimony was not chaotic predation, it was systematic. The sharks worked the perimeter of the survivor group, not the center. They did not compete with each other or display the frenzied behavior associated with feeding events in other species. They were patient, organized, and continuous across 4 days. Survivors who lasted the longest reported that staying still, staying grouped, and staying at the surface reduced contact. Movement, separation, and descent increased it. The sharks were tracking behavioral signals, not just chemical ones, and responding to them with what multiple naval investigators described, carefully and reluctantly, as strategy. The mechanism is a behavioral profile unique to the species. The oceanic whitetup does not disengage from a viable food source in open water. Most sharks that investigate and find an unfamiliar target will retreat and reassess. The whitetup reassesses while maintaining proximity. Its threshold for commitment, once a food source is identified, is lower than any other large pelagic shark documented. In open ocean, the environment where it lives and where maritime disasters deposit survivors, that behavioral difference is the entire ballgame. What the Indianapolis incident revealed, and what has never been fully absorbed into public understanding of shark risk, is that the oceanic whitetip is not a coastal predator that occasionally reaches offshore. It is an offshore predator that is always already present in the water between continents, the water that ships cross. That planes ditch into that sailors have always understood as the most dangerous water on Earth for reasons that have nothing to do with storms. Shortfin makos have rammed boats. Not circled them, not investigated them, rammed them with enough force to embed themselves in wooden holes. Fishermen have been hospitalized on the deck of their own vessels by hooked makos that came out of the water. These are not exceptional events. They are documented frequently enough that sport fishing guides in mako territory include specific emergency protocols for decleaval contact with a boated fish. The behavior makes immediate sense once the physiology is understood. The short fin mako is partially endothermic. It maintains muscle and core temperature above the surrounding water using a countercurrent heat exchange system in its circulatory tissue. The same thermal mechanism found in tuna and swordfish, the fastest fish in the ocean. In the mako, it produces burst speeds exceeding 70 km per hour and the ability to sustain high-speed pursuit across distances that would exhaust any cold-bodied predator. Its teeth angle forward rather than inward, designed not to grip and hold, but to shear cleanly through fast-moving prey at speed. The entire body plan is an engineering solution to a single problem: how to catch something that is trying very hard to be somewhere else. At a systemic level, the mako occupies the ecological niche in open ocean that land-based apex predators occupy on. Savanna, the high-speed pursuit predator that sets the upper ceiling of what prey species can evolve toward in terms of escape velocity. Every fast fish in the open ocean is fast, in part because the mako exists. Remove the mako and the ecosystem loses the selective pressure that has been shaping pelagic fish evolution for millions of years. The most visibly dangerous animal in any system is frequently also the one structurally responsible for the speed and agility of everything around it. Hammerhead, the great hammerhead, looks, to most observers, like a shark that evolution got wrong. The head is absurd. Too wide, too flat, eyes pushed to the outer edges where they seem barely useful. The whole structure appearing to trade hydrodynamic efficiency for something that doesn't immediately make sense. Every part of that intuition is incorrect. The effects of hammerhead predation are measurable in what prey species do to avoid it. Stingrays in hammerhead territory bury themselves deeper than stingrays in areas without hammerhead populations. The behavioral adaptation is a direct response to a predator that can find them anyway, but burying deeper costs energy and limits mobility. And that cost is documented in population-level physiological differences between stingray groups. The hammerhead's existence has literally reshaped the bodies of its prey over evolutionary time. The mechanism is the cephalofoil, the hammer, which is packed with ampulla of Lorenzini at a density no other shark species approaches. These electroreceptive organs detect the electrical field produced by cardiac muscle contraction, not movement, not scent. The bioelectric signature of a beating heart? A stingray buried under 18 inches of sand, motionless, producing no chemical gradient and no pressure displacement, still produces a heartbeat. In controlled experiments, great hammerheads located completely buried prey in under 90 seconds using only this system. The wide head that looks structurally wasteful is the largest electroreceptive surface area any predator has ever evolved. The systemic implication is precise. In any body of water where great hammerheads operate, concealment as a survival strategy is not fully available to anything with a heartbeat. The ocean floor is not cover. Stillness is not safety. The hammerhead reorganized the rules of predator-prey interaction at the bottom of the water column. And every species that shares that column has been adapting to those rules without knowing the source for millions of years. Tiger shark. Tiger sharks have been found with license plates, tar paper, a chicken coop, a near-intact dolphin, and in one case, a human arm intact enough to serve as murder evidence in an Australian court. The list of stomach contents documented in peer-reviewed literature is not a curiosity, it is a behavioral signature. Tiger sharks do not use the investigative sampling approach documented in great whites. They commit. Their serrated teeth are designed to rotate during the bite, working through material continuously rather than penetrating and withdrawing. The jaw pressure is sufficient to crush sea turtle shell, a structure engineered by evolution specifically to resist compression. When a tiger shark closes on a target, the assessment phase is already over. The cause is a dietary generalism so extreme it has no equivalent among large marine predators. Tiger sharks are not opportunistic. Opportunistic implies a preference that circumstances override. Tiger sharks appear to have no meaningful preference. The sensory system that drives feeding behavior responds to motion, electrical fields, and pressure displacement without a filtering layer that other species demonstrably possess. Where a great white investigates and frequently releases, the tiger shark's threshold between investigation and feeding commitment is, in documented attack analysis, nearly non-existent. What this means at the level of marine ecosystems is that tiger sharks function as the ocean's primary scavenger-predator hybrid, cleaning dead and dying animals from the water column at a scale no other species matches, while simultaneously maintaining active predation pressure on healthy prey populations. In Hawaii, their seasonal arrival patterns correlate directly with humpback whale calving season. They are not random. They are reading a calendar that runs on biology, and they have been reading it longer than any human record exists to document. Greenland shark. Greenland sharks are functionally blind. A parasitic copepod called Amatocoatea elongata attaches to their corneas and consumes the tissue, leaving most adults with severely degraded vision. A significant percentage are completely sightless. They move at under 1.5 kilometers per hour, slower than a person walking at a relaxed pace. They cannot chase anything. They are also 400 years old, apex predators of the Arctic deep, and their stomach contents include polar bears, moose, horses, and reindeer. None of those animals went into the water voluntarily. The mechanism by which a blind, slow-moving shark catches terrestrial mammals is electroreception combined with something that has no better word than patience. Greenland sharks produce almost no hydrodynamic signature, less water displacement per unit of body mass than any other large predator in documented marine biology. They approach in complete sensory silence. The prey animals they take at the surface are overwhelmingly found without defensive wounds, meaning contact occurred before any alarm response was triggered. The shark arrives before the animal knows to be afraid. The carbon-dated age of individual Greenland sharks, some confirmed at over 400 years, some estimated beyond 500, places them in a category that disrupts the ordinary framework of biological time. The shark now cruising below Arctic ice was alive during the 30 Years' War. It was alive when the last dodo died. It has outlived every human institution currently operating on Earth. Its flesh is so saturated with trimethylamine oxide that consuming it without months of processing causes neurological incapacitation in humans. The Greenland shark does not fit the category of dangerous because it wants to harm anything. It fits the category because it has found over 400 years of continuous operation that the most reliable predatory strategy is to be the thing in the water that nothing else believes is there. Whale shark. The whale shark is the largest fish on Earth, 12 meters of it, often more, 20 tons. A tail that moves enough water to reposition a diver without contact. And it is, by every functional biological measure, completely harmless. It filters plankton. It has no teeth capable of biting. It has no documented aggression toward any organism larger than a shrimp. It closes this list because of what it does to the frame of the entire conversation. Every shark described above is terrifying within a logic that humans understand. Speed, aggression, persistence, invisibility, ancient patience. Those are categories that map onto human experience of threat. The whale shark doesn't map onto any of them. It is simply enormous.com and indifferent in a way that produces in most divers who encounter it something that is not fear but is adjacent to fear, a sudden total awareness of irrelevance. The animal passes and the water moves and the human body understands something. The mind takes longer to process. That the ocean is not a dangerous place because it contains things that want to hurt you. It is a self-contained system of almost incomprehensible scale and complexity that was operating long before humans entered it and will continue operating long after. The sharks on this list are not aberrations in that system. They are load-bearing components of it. Remove the great white and seal populations, collapse coastal ecosystems, remove the tiger shark and biological waste accumulates in the water column, remove the hammerhead and stingray populations, expand unchecked. Remove the whale shark and the plankton dynamics, it helps regulate, begin destabilizing the base of the marine food web. Every animal here is doing something precise and necessary in a system that does not require human presence to function, does not adjust its operations based on human comfort, and has been running at full capacity since before our species existed. That is not a threat. That is just the accurate description of where we are when we get in the water. If you made it this far, you already understand something most people don't. The ocean isn't dangerous because of what's in it, it's dangerous because of how little of it we actually perceive. If you want more of this, not noise, not recycled facts, but the real mechanisms behind what you think you understand, subscribe. And one more thing. The most dangerous shark on this list is almost always the one people have never heard of. So, name it. Let's see who actually knows what they're talking about.